UAP whistleblower and the former director of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, Lou Elizondo. You know, Lou, I'm very familiar with you. You were in the Bob Lazar story. You were one of the most convincing people in it, to be very honest. He's told this story for decades. Okay, what do we know? What do we really know?
Well, what we know is that there's still a lot more we need to learn. The bottom line is that this is really, I believe, a historic moment, Sean, for several reasons.
He literally just said, well, we know that we don't know much.
First of all, the president made good on his promise to the American people. There have been other presidents before that have made bold statements and promises like this. But to my knowledge, President Trump is the only one who actually delivered. And I also need to say real quick that a lot of that was helped by the behind the scene effort of folks like Representative Tim Burchett, Representative Eric Burleson, and Representative Luna. They have done incredible work continuing to put pressure on the system. So it's really been a group effort. And you're absolutely right. Look, if you read the statement that came out of the Department of War, I believe it was either this morning or last night, they said there are literally tens of millions, think about that, tens of millions of these documents that have yet to see the light of day, right? So there is a plethora of information, and I know that to be true because I personally had access to them when I was at the Pentagon. So it's wonderful to see that 9 years later that the American people are finally getting just a small taste of what we already knew to be true.
Well, I watched you. I meant Age of Disclosure. You're all over that documentary. I watched it twice. And you were, to me, one of the most convincing people. But, like, for example, the congressman that we just heard from, Congressman Burchett or Marco Rubio, they're in the same movie, documentary, whatever you want to call it, that you were in. And you are with great passion describing all of these things. And, the congressman saying, this is the tip of the iceberg. I felt that Secretary of State Rubio all but said it's true.
Yeah, Sean, I think you're right. And I've had conversations.
Does anyone know, what order the file was going to get released in? Because I heard they're getting drip fed in batches, which is what I think they're kind of going on about here now. I wonder if it's just going to get more and more crazy, or if it's just going to be pretty level the whole way.
With officials, both in the executive branch, legislative branch, and privately. And they've admitted to me several of them actually had their own UAP encounter. So some of these folks you don't have to prove anything to. They've already seen it for themselves, while others have received top secret briefings from intelligence officials like some of my old offices and some of my old colleagues. We're dealing with a very real issue. And I'll tell you something very compelling that I haven't heard anybody talk about yet, but you showed a picture from the surface of the moon that was recently released as part of this tranche of information that's just been released by the government. And these images on the moon were taken in 1969 during the Apollo 11 mission. Now, think about this for a minute. We did not have satellites orbiting the moon back in 1969. And yet, here are pictures, photographs by NASA from astronauts of things that are right outside of the lunar orbit, and you can see them right there. Perfect example right there. And there's another photograph that I think has about 6 or 7 of these objects all in the same photograph. So this is something we've known a long time that existed. It is a national security issue. These things can outperform anything that we have in our inventory. We know it's not our technology.
I did see some transcripts where I think it was Buzz Aldrin or one of the other astronauts on Apollo 11. I think they were saying that they saw spaceships. They switched to the medical channel so that they couldn't be heard by everyone else, I think. And then they were talking about how there was massive spaceships. I'll try and find a video about that and I'll react to that later, but I'm pretty sure that's what they were talking about. It's probably the things that they saw just there.
pretty sure it's not Russian or Chinese or foreign adversarial technology. So then whose is it, right? And so I would like to caveat before I started working at the Pentagon and as an intelligence official, I often tell people I couldn't even spell UAP or UFO because it wasn't my focus. I was a counterterrorism guy and a counterintelligence guy. But once you start seeing the files, in this case, seeing is
Can't even spell UFO.
believing. You have the telemetry data, you have the FLIR footage, you have infrared, you've got multiple sensors, very sophisticated sensors, all looking at the same thing at the same time under the same circumstances. And they're all telling you the same thing, that this is a real object, and whatever it is, it's not ours.
The power source is fascinating to me. The maneuvering is fascinating to me. They can do things that defy physics as we know it. So
Right.
your best, based on all of your years, all of your knowledge, all of the intel, what you know that most Americans don't know, where do you think this ultimately takes us?
Wow, great question, Sean. Well, I still have a security clearance and I still maintain my security oath to the United States. So I won't reveal anything classified or that I've been told is classified.
They do that to
But
shut
what I
you
will
up, it sounds like.
Well, that's one way, but also I've been threatened to in the past, as some of my colleagues have been, but that's neither here nor there. I think we are on the precipice of having a very serious.
How is he not going to elaborate on that? He's like, yeah, been threatened by someone. Wow, he's got a fucking
Conversation.
fucking. It looks like he's been hit already. What the fuck is that? They're getting him with the radiation rays. Do you see that? That's what they said about one of the missing scientists. She was saying that she was getting hit by microwave weapons or something. I guess he's been hit by the same thing.
Amongst ourselves as citizens, as world government, religions now are taking note of this conversation. You have world leaders now that are coming out. In fact, there was recently a bilateral information sharing agreement requested by none other than the country of Japan to do nothing more than share UAP information with the American government. Apparently,
I think America's got this deal with a load of countries because there's so much stuff in the files from other countries. And I was thinking, like, how the fuck has America got access to all this stuff? But yeah, it makes sense. They must just be sharing it with each other, which is good, really, isn't it?
they have such a high number of incidents involving UAP that they want to work with the Americans to try to figure this out. And Japan's not the only one. There's dozens and dozens of other countries that are dealing with this issue. And if you look at this from a national security perspective, Sean, just give me one moment, please, to digress. Let's just say this is Russian or Chinese technology. And oh, by the way, we have been tracking this since the late 1940s, right? This is right on the heels of the atomic bomb. Now, what country in 1948, 1949, 1950 had the ability to perform maneuvers well beyond anything that we can perform, fly at hypersonic speeds, fly in low Earth atmosphere, and even underwater? If this was some sort of foreign country that has managed to pull this off, and despite our 16 intelligence agencies being engaged for decades, this would be the greatest intelligence failure that this country has ever faced, eclipsing that of even 9/11, because somehow, somewhere, some government has been able to keep this secret and do this for decades. And by the way, fly in our controlled U.S. airspace, and there's not really a darn thing we can do about it.
You know, as a Christian, I could.
It's kind of true. Like, these things were seen around during World War II and stuff. So if it was a country that was doing it, well, they would have won the war, wouldn't they? So it would have to be the US or UK, probably, if it was some country doing it. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense though, does it? This is all crazy, man. Crazy stuff.
I tell you this, the Bible tells us that God created the heavens and the earth, and we do know science has taken us to an understanding that there are universes within universes within universes. I don't see anything, biblically speaking, that would contradict the idea that God perhaps created other life forms in other places. But we need to get to the bottom of it for sure. My understanding, too, is that China and Russia are as interested in finding out as we are. I don't believe any of this is from them. Perhaps we should all, for the sake of mankind, get together one day, but maybe that's just a fantasy. Your work is phenomenal. It's an honor to meet you. Appreciate you being on board. You are great in age of disclosure, and we have a podcast on that coming out soon. Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch.
You know what's crazy? I swear that like one of the original conspiracy theories from like early 2000s was that there was going to be a fake alien invasion and it was going to unite the entire world to make a one world government. Like that's one of the OG conspiracy theories. But we're supposed to just trust that the government's just giving us this information now. It's all crazy. I don't know what to believe. I'll be honest. Alright, we're at Turning Point for UFOs. Dr. Michael Kaku. He's the guy that was on Ancient Aliens a bunch, I think. And he's been on Joe Rogan a couple times. So let's see what he's saying.
A whistleblower says one of the missing scientists was in charge of a classified program related to UFOs. Now, we don't know what's going on, but the government's lied to us for decades about pretty much everything. JFK, lab leak, Epstein, Hunter's laptop, the Russia hoax. And when we ask questions, they call us conspiracy theorists. But just like COVID, we might be right. Dr. Michio Kaku is a theoretical physicist. Doctor, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about this UFO release?
I would put it at a 10 because we're at a turning point. For decades, we had to rely upon eyewitness accounts of housewives, truck drivers. People would snicker and laugh at them. Now we're talking about huge files that are top secret that for the first time in modern history.
Why do you guys think they're releasing these files now?
Are being given to the American public. So I'd like to congratulate President Trump for having the nerve to go against recommendations by the FBI and the CIA to release these files so that independent researchers, scientists can go over them and we can make up our own minds rather than having the CIA make.
That one does look like a helicopter though, doesn't it? They must know the size of it though. Which is how they know it's not a helicopter, I guess. Or it just didn't look like that in person.
Up our minds.
And the CIA apparently is still fighting the full release. When you hear or see about a UFO that goes like that, up, down, left, right, at 90-degree angles so fast you can't even believe it, what does that tell you?
It tells me that the laws of centrifugal force should crush the bones of the people inside the flying saucer. So either there's basically an automated flying saucer, so there are no bones to crack as the thing goes zigzagging left and right, or it represents a very high level of intelligence to create something like that. So in other words, we humans cannot get into a spaceship that goes zigzagging like that. Only aliens can, but even their
What do you guys reckon it is? I've heard 3 different theories. Angels/demons, aliens, and humans from the future. What do you reckon? Or it could be us right now as well, I guess. Just like secret programs and stuff.
break. So it must be a very high level of automated computer technology.
And you're hearing these eyewitness reports from military officials, intelligence officials, 3.5 feet, 4.5 feet, small in stature. They can walk. Why does this seem to be the common description of alien life?
Well, we don't know until we have actual samples of this. That is, close encounters of the second kind. Not just visual hearsay, but real, authentic pound of flesh, the bodies, the wreckage of the flying saucers. That's close encounters of the second kind. That's what we need. And hopefully in these documents, we're going to find some evidence of that. Recovered aircraft of alien technology, the bodies, what have you.
That would be crazy. That would be the craziest thing to come out of this, I think. But I don't think there's going to be anything like that in there. Maybe. I don't know. I reckon it'll just be all UFO footage and stuff. There was the cool stuff on the moon. I reckon it's all going to be stuff like that, really.
Hopefully, in this mountain of declassified documents, will be more than just, I saw something last night, dear. Maybe it's, hey, we have the body. We can do autopsies. We can look at the reverse engineer, the engine. That would be the turning point. And I hope that these files make that possible for the first time in history.
There's reluctance to release everything because there's competition between the Russians and the Chinese. There's an indication there could be a real fight for alternative energy sources. That could be tied into some of these missing scientists. What do you see there?
Well, I see the fact.
This one looks crazy. It's so weird. It looks like the Stone Island logo.
Fact that countries have to get access to energy, and that's what we do.
Scientists.
Did you see that?
What do you see there?
Look.
Well,
What is that? Maybe I went too far.
Fight for alternative energy sources. That could be tied into some of these missing scientists. What do you see there?
Well, I see the fact that countries have to get access to
335.
energy,
Right.
and that's what we do.
What do you see there?
Well, I see the fact that countries have to get access to energy, and that's what we do at.
I think it was just discoloration in the picture. I don't think there was anything. I don't think it was a window or anything.
Los Alamos National Laboratories, Jet Propulsion Laboratories, look at sources of energy, fusion, fission, maybe even antimatter. And perhaps that's the reason why these scientists disappeared out of thin air, or they died in very mysterious circumstances. Somebody wants that technology.
That technology is going to make someone very rich and very powerful. So you want the government to give you something, a sample, maybe a pound of flesh, so you can test it.
Well, that would be
You don't trust the government to test this stuff. You want in.
Why did he laugh like that? Like he's crazy. I don't know, man. This whole thing is crazy. But I don't know why he said it like that and laughed.
Independent scientists to get their hands on some things.
I would like to set up a scientific committee that has the know-how to do a dissection like that, to look at the DNA, if they have any DNA, and to find out exactly what their architecture is, whether it's parallel to our evolutionary development or there's another parallel development that we not even know about.
You probably liked dissecting the frog in science in 3rd grade, didn't you, Doctor? You did. You don't have to say it. It's okay.
What a weird question, man. What's going on?
Sick man. Just kidding. Love you.
What
Be
the
sure to
fuck?
like and
Parallel development that we not even know
That
about.
was funny as hell.
you probably liked dissecting the frog in science in third grade, didn't you, Doctor? You did. You don't have to say it. It's okay. You sick man. Just kidding. Love you. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News.
I don't know what that was about. This is the craziest time to be alive, I can't lie. Epstein files, UFO files, JFK files. Is there anything else crazy that was released? This is all this year. Fucking hell. Listen, I'm gonna keep you updated on the UFO files. So if you're interested in finding out what else is gonna come out, subscribe and just keep posted. I'll see you.